for someone who's been kind of hidden away for all of his life up until this point, that's a big deal. That's something he doesn't want to screw up. All he wants is to be a normal kid. But the fact of the matter is, he's not.
He's not.
He's not a normal kid. He's anything but. And so there are a lot of hurdles. There are a lot of speed bumps that are thrown in his way. Yes, those puns are deliberate. That's not something they could shut off with me. That's just how I am, and you can expect that in almost anything that I write. Whether you roll your eyes or not, that's just kind of who I am and what I am. Appropriately, if it works with the character, it works with the character. But Zephyr is going to be that character for sure. And so he's going to encounter so many things that I think a lot of people, myself included, when you first get to high school, you end up encountering. You could potentially encounter a bully. You could encounter the best friend for the rest of your life. You could encounter your first crush. Like, there's a lot of things that go along with that while juggling something that none of us can actually relate to, which is this kid has superpowers. Yeah. And he's trying to keep that unlocked. And there's something about his superpowers that's actually incredibly detrimental to him. And that's something that's built into the storytelling. And this story was born of a few things. One of them being my love for the Speedster archetype. So whether we're talking the Flash, whether we're talking Quicksilver, whether we're talking velocity over an image, whether we're talking Excel, whether we're talking Sonic the Hedgehog, who was probably my favorite video game character of all time.
You and Eric, man.
And he was a big Flash fan for sure. Big Flash fan. And there's a lot of importance and significance behind that archetype for me, because when I was a kid, I'm still kind of a smaller guy, but growing up especially, I was almost always the smallest kid on the block. I was always also the fastest kid on the block. So while I would get picked on for being small and kind of weak and wimpy, like I wasn't a strong kid at all, I was fast enough to outrun anybody that wanted to cause a problem, right? Gotcha. And if we were doing anything on the street for sports, whether it was like, are we doing, two-hand touch? Are we doing, some, in the middle of the street, though, much to our neighbor's chagrin, are we playing baseball in the middle of the street? Not a very wide street, mind you. So it's like, don't hit the neighbor's car, please, right? I was wanted on teams because I was fast. Okay. And so speed is something that I always kind of like connected with because of that. And speedsters, especially, there's something to the imagery of it. There's a freedom that I find because I ran varsity track in high school. I ran varsity cross country in high school. I played soccer for just about a decade, from grade school through I believe my sophomore year in high school, before focusing on track and cross country. And I played that sport because I love to run. There's a freedom that I find in running. There's something, the biological stuff is like endorphins are released and all that, but there's something that's really liberating about just kind of like full out running and just kind of letting loose. Yeah. I wanted to encapsulate the idea of freedom, the idea of liberty, and the idea of locking into one's true self and finding oneself in an action, in movement, in something that's moving forward, and tying that idea to moving forward in one's life. And that's something that Zephyr is going to just get a little taste of in this short story.
Okay, I like it, man. You said the name Zephyr has some meaning. I assume this is where NDA Andrew tells us we can't go into.
No, actually.
Okay. Then what is?
So I'll actually do a rare, this is not even an ND Andrew breach, because I created the dang character, so I can say whatever the heck I want or not want about it.
I love it.
So I have the power right now for the first time. It feels like I'm not having to lose my hair or get gray hair from the Saskas being on a stream where I have no control, right? And I'm not convinced I'd be a silver fox. So it's like, please don't make me go gray early, right? But Zephyr actually has a couple of meanings, but one of them is a gentle breeze.
Okay.
And that is actually meant to be reflective of the state of his heart. My favorite type of character, so my favorite like superpower archetype is Speedster.
Okay.
But my favorite character archetype when it comes to superheroes is the character who has a heart of gold.
Okay.
And specifically the character who is at their heart like gentle.
Yeah.
They don't actually want to cause harm to anyone, but at the same time, they have this protectiveness in them. So they want to protect other people. And sometimes to protect others, you might have to skirt that line of causing harm to somebody else, right?
Okay.
In the act of protection. And so there's a dichotomy that happens there, and that can cause some inner conflict.
Okay.
And so that was something I wanted to lean into, because I wanted Zephyr to be a gentle-hearted kid. I wanted him to be someone with a heart of gold. And heart of gold means you always have the best of intentions, or more often than not, at least, have the best of intentions. But that doesn't always mean you're going to make the right decisions.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're going to make decisions where it's like, that was the wrong choice. I get you want to do what's right, but you didn't know how to go about it here. And so you're a knucklehead. And he's a teenager, and a young teenager in this short story introduction. And so sometimes, teenagers are going to teenage. They're going to do dumb stuff. They're going to make decisions where it's like, man, like, I kind of want to throw a shoe at your noggin right now because you're being dumb. You're being a teenager. I was paying attention to what the fans were looking for and asking for. And I already had my ideas and my designs for Blue Shift in mind. But I knew, and I was seeing, that there was a call and a hunger for a younger hero, a younger character. And that's something that not just the Rippaverse, but comic books in general need.